Awesome. Well, thank you for coming. It's been a great day around here. I've been in this building about the last 3 weeks pretty much by myself, and to have some voices around the last couple of days has been awesome. And I challenged all these guys in the hiring process to have a list of recruits available, and they've been grinding out the last 2 days. Yesterday, we got them all in here. HR and Emily Lujan did a fantastic job getting those guys cleared. I mean, we had guys that were not approved. Our last one, Coach Al's, was not approved until almost 2 o'clock yesterday. So they really busted tail to get it done, and we're excited to have these guys here. It's a great group of men, husbands, fathers, teachers. I'm really excited about who we have, and the best part is they're great recruiters. I'll say this, as long as I'm at this post, you're a great coach if you have great players. And the only way to build a program is to recruit. And we've got guys that are grinding already, and I'm super excited to have them. So we'll start. We'll just go down the list. First, the offensive coordinator, Derek Wareheim. We are super excited to have him back. Was here at the beginning of Coach Davies' tenure, 12, 13, 14, when they were. Now, I will say this. We are not going to be a full-blooded triple option team. They were very, very successful doing that when we played them. They're really hard to defend. So that aspect of the offense will be involved because as an old defensive guy, if you have to spend time preparing for that, you don't have time to prepare for everything else as much as you'd like to. So if we go into a game and somebody can't stop it, guess what you're going to see? A whole bunch of. So and that's with anything. We're going to be very multiple on offense with personnels, different personnels, and I think the best thing to do and the best coaches, they evaluate who they have, and once they evaluate who they have, they develop their game plan. I mean, the idea behind the offense, we're going to be a spread RPO with some triple option aspects, and when we have the opportunity to run the ball, we're going to smash people in the mouth, and when we need to throw the ball, we're going to throw it. If you look at some of the best offenses, the game that's getting ready to be played tomorrow night, Joe Burrow, they're throwing for 397 yards a game, second in the country, but they can run the ball. And if you look on the other side, Clemson, they run the ball for almost 240 a game. They throw it for almost 250. So the balanced attack, we're going to be able to do all of that. I think it's when you become one-dimensional, you become a lot easier to stop as a defensive guy. The challenge is when not nearly as hard when a team can only do one thing. So I've challenged Derek with that. I won't make any crazy statements about what we're going to do, but we're going to be a physical football team and have a whole lot of fun. You've seen some of the other coaches that were hired. We'll go down the list. Jason Linsmeyer, welcome him back to Lobo football. There will be a lot of excitement around here having him here. Me and Lins go way back, so I was on this staff when we recruited him. I have an old driver's license picture of him that he doesn't know about still out there that we'll have to show around here because you won't believe what he looked like back then when he was part of the old Got Syrup group. And we're going to have the Red Menace, we're going to have to bring that thing back. We're going to have to get that back strong and bring that tradition back. That was one of the best fan sections I've ever been around in my 20 years of doing this. So really excited to have Jason back with he's going to be coaching our O-line. He has a history of coaching real physical O-lines and along that line, we've got Saga Tuatele still on our staff. He's the holdover from the previous staff. Saga, I've gone up against him in recruiting in the Inland Empire. What a tremendous job he does. And he's coached the O-line back in Army, was the offensive coordinator at Cal Poly, and then he's been here and has done a phenomenal job with our guys on offense here. And the players, you can tell when a coach has done a really good job. In my meeting with the players, all of them love Coach Saga. It's been just phenomenal to hear them talk about him, and he's done a really good job of helping me through this transition, reach out to those guys and keep them on board. And I want to give a lot of credit to him. Before I was even hired, he did a great job of keeping the New Mexico logo out there, going around and recruiting, taking an initiative on his own to be out there. And I speaks volumes for him as a person, as a coach. And I'm excited to keep him around. Been friends for a long time and awesome. On another one on offense, this young man, Jordan Somerville, is a great young football coach. I hope we can keep him around here for a long time. In Arizona, he is very well respected and connected. Talk about a journey for a great young man. He volunteered his time for 3 years just to get an opportunity to be a GA. And he was a GA I volunteered on offense. And as soon as we had a GA spot, my 2 years there at Arizona State, I swooped him up on our side of the ball. And so he's been with me. As soon as this became an opportunity, he was one of the first ones that I went to and told him, look, you're gonna have a full-time job because you've earned it. And it's a great story. I mean, he struggled his tail off to volunteer, and his eye for talent and coaching. He's one of the great young coaches in America. I mean, Jordan Somerville is going to go a long way, and I'm really, really excited that we have him on this staff. And then Jamie Christian from Fresno State, the turnaround that he helped Coach Tedford have, from going from 1-11 to 11-1 the following year. They've competed for conference championships in the last couple years with Coach Tedford at Fresno. Super excited to have Jamie on our staff. Now, he's coached a position everywhere he's been. He's focusing right now on special teams. The advantage we're going to take of that is he's going to be able to help out in all the positions. And he'll be in the offensive room helping those guys out. I'll try and steal him over to the defensive room a couple times too. But the special teams, the national relevance that he's put together on his resume is why he's here. And really excited because that's 1/3 of the game. There's no second down in special teams. And so you have to be very detailed. And that was one of my big things about Coach Christian. I'm super excited to have him here. And plus, he's been around a championship environment the last couple of years. We'll move over to the defensive side. Coach Reffett. Troy Reffett was here with us early on in Coach Long's tenure here at New Mexico. And being a defensive coordinator at UTEP, Louisiana Monroe, North Texas. He has a great track record. I hope I didn't leave one out. He has a great track record of being really good on defense. He understands our scheme. We're different on defense than pretty much 98% of America. And to have people that are familiar with what we do is a tremendous advantage, both in the teaching aspect and the recruiting aspect, so that we can go identify who we want. I've been friends with Troy for a long time. When he came here, I was in the video department the first time. So I had to do a whole lot of instructing from the video side, which was fun. And to be able to work with him again here, I'm super excited about it. The linebackers coach, David Howes, like I said, Coach Howes was not approved, final approval till about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and was really excited. He shared with his team that an opportunity to be here, and what a tremendous track record he has at Rio Rancho High School. You can go back 20 years, him being at West Mesa High School. I can tell you a little story. He is my brother-in-law. So he married my sister. First time I saw him, he's shooting baskets in my front yard with some cowboy boots on. So we had a lot to do to train him the right way. What a great football coach, though. His track record in the local area, and 2 undefeated state championships, state championship appearance this year. Has just built a powerhouse in Rio Rancho, and between Rio Rancho and Cleveland over there, they've really taken over the state in football, and it's awesome to see. And all of the high school coaches, so Judge Chavez, who's the president of the Metro Coaches Association, a really good friend of mine, I've known Judge since I was a little kid, spoke volumes about David, and all the coaches do, and he has great relationships with those guys, and that is so important to our program here. Like I said, I'm a New Mexico kid, and New Mexico high school football coaches, they're going to be in this building a lot because, in my opinion, when we have all those coaching clinics, the college coaches, we learn way more from those guys than we teach them. High school football coaches are way more innovative than we are because they don't get to recruit. Well, they're not supposed to. They don't get to recruit, so they play with the kids in their neighborhood, and they have to be able to adjust to who they have. And they have to be very innovative in what they do. So when we have those clinics, I take more notes than they do, I promise that. And we want to get all those guys here in Albuquerque and throughout the whole state in our building as much as we can because they are the foundation of our football program. We're going to recruit New Mexico kids. We're going to recruit our footprint really hard. And we're going to build it. When I was here before, our best players were from New Mexico, like I said before, the Dontrell Moores, the Hank Baskets, the Cole McCameys, the Ryan Cooks, Eric Cooks. I mean, I was here as a player when Brian was here. We didn't recruit him, but guess what? New Mexico and New Mexico State were the only twos that offered Brian a scholarship. So we're going to be able to steal those talent. The easy ones, the no-brainers in the state, they're obviously going to be offered by us. I'll give you a perfect example, Connor O'Toole, and I'm really happy for the young man. I mean, Coach Ludwig and Coach Scally at Utah are great men. They're great coaches, and I tried my tail off the day I got hired to keep him from signing that next day to keep him home. And he was awesome on the phone, and I'll cheer him on. But we're going to cheer. And if New Mexico kids, they don't want to come here, I'm a New Mexico kid. I'm going to cheer them on. I'm going to support them in any way I can. But we're going to work our tails off to keep them home. Our corners coach, Brandon Blackman, he was another one that came with me from Arizona State, was my GA there. Coach helped me with the corners and safeties. Another energetic, great young coach. He broke away last year from us and went to coach the DBs at Western Illinois. And to get him back was one of the first phone calls I made when I got this job because of his track record with me. He knows how I am. He knows my expectation. And it's a lot easier when you don't have to teach those guys that. Our strength coach, Jimmy Carson, he is from Arizona State. He was the number 2 guy. He is well traveled. Very similar early story to Jordan Somerville. Ohio State, South Carolina, was a volunteer assistant, got on as a GA at Valdosta, and then connected with Joe Connolly, who is our strength coach at Arizona State, who is phenomenal and has trained Jimmy. The great thing about having Jimmy the last 2 years at Arizona State is, I think you have to be around your players. If you're around them all the time, they get comfortable with you being there, and they'll do things that they wouldn't normally do because they're just used to you being around. And so I was constantly around those guys in the weight room, and I got to see Jimmy and Coach Joe and those guys work. And Coach Carson is, he knows my expectation, what I expect in the weight room. He knows what I expect from our football team. And so it's going to be a seamless transition. And that hire is extremely important because your strength coach spends more time with your football team than anybody else around. A lot of the time the coaches are out recruiting during spring. Well, guess what? Your strength coach is the one that's with them all day long. And so between him and myself, we'll spend the majority of our time with the football team. That guy is a very integral part in your success. And so we were really excited to have him. We're blessed to have him, and it's going to be a great challenge. Those are the assistants that we announced today. We have 2 more spots to fill that will not be filled until next week. We'll find out what kind of a recruiter I am. I'm recruiting my tail off on a couple guys, and we'll see what happens next week. So with that, we can open it up for questions.
And you said you're going to be the defense coordinator?
I am. I will run the defense, and I will be involved in that side completely. I'll call it on game day. I've really enjoyed that the last 2 years. I think part of the reason that I got this job was because of that, and that kind of drives me. So that'll be the direction we go right now.
Did finances play a part in that at all?
No, not at all. Eddie and President Stokes have been unbelievable in providing resources for the assistant coaches. Our structure within the entire department is changing, and they've given us a lot of opportunity to open up more positions. It's been phenomenal.
What was the main pitch to get these guys here? What did you tell them and get them excited about this program?
First off, let me say, when you hire assistant coaches, and I've learned this from Coach Mendenhall and Coach Long, it's who they are is the most important thing. What they know, all good coaches seek knowledge. All good coaches want to learn. And you have to be around people you trust. You have to be around people that you know when the things get going tough, that they're going to fight their tails off to right the ship. And I keep telling everybody, it's a marathon, not a sprint around here. We're going to build a program. We're going to build a program that competes for championships, and you have to do it with people you trust. If you also notice, the vibe of our staff is pretty young. Okay, there's going to be a lot of young kids on our that have young children on our staff. So when you all come up here, you might see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds running around the halls and creating noise. And I hope they do, because if we can't concentrate with that kind of noise, what are we going to do on a Saturday? and we're going to have a family environment around here so that our players see the kind of people we are. And that was the big draw. I mean, they know who I am. There's a trust factor there. If our relationship was tenured short, I've either worked with people that have been very comfortable with them, or if there was any negative things, I just go the other way. And like I said, we've hired a bunch of great men, and they have the same vision I do. Now, a lot of them have association with the University of New Mexico, and their association with the University of New Mexico was during the greatest time in the tenure of the program, the history of this program. I think that's important. They understand what it took around here to win, because this place is different, and they were a part of that. So that led to it also.
Coach, you came in here at a quick pace.
Mm-hmm.
You rattled off a bunch of information, not a single note with enthusiasm. I'm just kind of curious, what's your state of mind right now? How fired up are you?
I'm as excited as can be. Like I said, when I first started this, just to have the voices around in the building has been unbelievable. You said I rattled off. I know I talk really fast. I'll keep working at slowing down. I just get excited and want to go, and there's a lot going on right here that is really exciting first, and the hard work that's already been taking place in these halls. We've got about 2.5 weeks to put this first recruiting class together. I've said it, the fact that the early signing period happened and a ton of kids signed, we know who's left. And so there might be some kids that we try and flip. There's going to be some kids available. That's exciting. We're not going to waste our time going after people that we got no shot at because they've already signed and they're taken off the market. So that's exciting. That's a plus. And then to have the players start coming around, so they're starting to come back from Christmas, that has been the best part. I mean, that's why all these coaches in here, that's why we do this. We do it to be around the players. That's going to be my biggest miss along this whole deal, is I'm going to miss having a position group. So I'm going to drive these guys crazy sitting in their position meetings, because that was the funnest part of this job to me, is building those relationships and having those kids over at the house and being around my family. And so that's the vibe that's going on right here. And the energy around town today was phenomenal. I mean, I almost got as many text messages today as when I first took the job. And so that's really cool. The excitement and the talk of Lobo football, it's outstanding.
What's the reception?
It's been unbelievable. It's been awesome. I mean, everybody, I guess if there's any negative naysayers out there, they haven't come to the front. So we just got to keep riding this wave. I keep saying it. We're riding this thing all the way to September, and we start playing games.
Danny, your predecessor was not a real public figure in this city, but the basketball team has played 3 times since you've been hired. You've been visible down on the floor, just meeting with people, shaking hands. Is that what you're going to be as the head coach, and is that what you expect your assistants to be kind of be out there mingling with people?
Absolutely. I think we're all going to be out in the community. Now, there's twofold to that. Me being at the basketball games, I'm a huge basketball fan. I'm a huge Lobo basketball fan. So I'm living a dream. I got all kinds of access to that building that I never had before. Even as an assistant coach, there were some times that I couldn't get places that I can get now, and I'm going to take full advantage of it. So now I've become pretty good friends with Coach Weir, and so any support that I can give to him and any of the coaches in our department, I think that's important to me. And I'm going to be around. I mean, I'll be at all Coach Birmingham's baseball games if I can. Coach Dice at the women's soccer games. I mean, any time. That'll be a little bit harder because it's in the fall. But anything that I can go to, I want to be there. Coach Bradbury, I've gone to one women's basketball game, and I'll keep getting to those. I think we all have to support each other, and I expect our assistant coaches to be out there too doing that. We play Air Force tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We'll be there for that one too. So I think that's important.
Coach Howell's last game, was he wearing cowboy boots for that game?
He was not. He's been in tennis shoes, so that's good. Now he's a big flip flop wearer, so I told him you can't be doing that around here. We got to be tennis shoes and get to work. You can't run in flip flops. Can't chase kids. So he's been awesome.
Right. Hey, Coach, how important is President Stokes? I know since she's been here, I've seen her at baseball games, softball games, football games, basketball games, and then she went to see you.
Yes.
To talk you into this. How important is that to you?
That's why I'm here. between her and Eddie. They are unbelievable. Their vision for the University of New Mexico, and it's beyond that. The vision for the state of New Mexico. It fires me up. President Stokes, from her tenure at Florida State and Missouri, she used her opportunities to grow, to become the president of this great university. And to be able to learn some of the things that she did along the way before I got to meet with her really gave me some great ideas. We're gonna attack the state of New Mexico. I mean, every one of our assistants will have an area in New Mexico, and they will go and venture out, and they'll spend time with those coaches at least twice a year at a minimum. That was something that she did as a dean of students. She went to all of the different colleges, as a provost, and went to all the different colleges and made sure that they knew who she was. And then when she became the president here, she went on a statewide county tour to go be visible within all the counties of New Mexico. That's no different than what we're going to do. And so we share a great vision, and I'm so excited to be able to, I'm honored first that they wanted me to be here, but to be able to work with President Stokes and Eddie. I'll say this here, I never politicked one time for this job. If they wanted me to be here, they were gonna convince me to come. I sold my vision of this place to them, and they sold me what they were willing to do to support it. And it's been unbelievable. And if you don't have that support, you have no chance. And President Stokes and Eddie have been awesome. And so I really look forward to continuing that working relationship and building this up, because that's the foundation you need.
Will, and then we're trying to wrap it up. Will?
Okay, I think some of us probably expected Rocky Lawn to come running out from behind a curtain for this thing.
Right.
I know you still have 2 spots to fill. Is there any chance that he appears in some way?
You know what, I mean, when they first offered me this job, after I had gotten approval from my wife, I called Coach Long. And I asked him the second it happened, I said, come on, man, quit what you're doing, come be my DC. And he just laughed, and I would love for him to be here because he loves this place. And he is a very special person to me. Like I say it all the time, he protected me in this business, and that's very uncommon. I was with him for 20 years as an assistant. That's very uncommon. So I have a lot of admiration for him, and I like being around him. The thing that really excites me about what he did is very, very few times in this game do you get to choose when football ends. Usually football ends on its terms, not on yours. And he decided, I'm good. Winning double-digit wins 4 of the last 5 years, I thought that was during his press conference. That was the greatest thing he did. He acknowledged it, and that's not like him. He said the comment was, double-digit wins 4 of the last 5 years. That's pretty darn good. Well, guess what? It is. And for him to say that, I know I'm proud of him because that's not his character, and everybody needs to know how special he is. And so I would love it, but we got 2 spots left, and I don't know. We'll see.
All right, the last one, because I want to have time for these.
We haven't talked about this, I don't think, since you said you're coming here, but recruits, I know you can't name recruits and stuff,
Mhm.
but we had a lot of recruits that were gonna come here. And I know Saga's a coach from last year's team. Did you meet with him, and maybe did you talk to all the players now that didn't get picked up by other teams, and are you still recruiting some of them?
Sure. So I did talk to Coach Saga about what the direction was, the recruiting before we got here, and we decided not to sign any players in the early signing period for 2 reasons. One, I think you have to be fair to them. They have to understand who they're going to be around for the next 4 to 5 years, because ultimately I think that's the most important thing. They have to feel comfortable, and as a parent, I've got 2 boys that are students at ASU. As a parent, you have to feel comfortable with where you're sending your children. And for them to sign and not know who's going to be the coaches, who's going to be the position coaches and the head coach, because in this deal, the head coach is the voice. The assistant coaches are who spend 90% of the time with those kids. And so the families need to be comfortable with that choice And so that's why I chose not to sign anybody in that first period. And those kids that are unsigned, every single one of them that's unsigned in this country, we have a chance to get. And we will leave no rock unturned to find the best players. We've got 22 scholarships that we can give because we have Deion Hunter showed up yesterday. He was a gray shirt, and then we blue shirted 2 from last year. So we've got 22 spots. That'll put us at 84 scholarships if we fill them. My idea right now is I would like to sign 20 at least on February 5th and save a couple for late qualifiers, or if we find a position of need that we need to find a grad transfer. We're a little bit low in both the offensive line and the defensive line, so we'll need to find some spots there and manufacture to build. Like I said on the morning of this radio, we've got 32 scholarship seniors and 4 scholarship freshmen. So we've got to balance out the classes. And if we have to do that and be very inventive in ways of blue shirting kids to balance out the classes, and when I say blue shirt, it means it's a non-recruited kid that you put on scholarship when they first get here, that you count forward to the next class. We can do some of that within our 25 annual counter limit to be able to spread the classes out as we build this thing.
One more objective view.
Yes. You can't stop Henry.
I'm Frank, thank you. Your objective view and critique of the facilities here in Lobo land, and how do you equate that to winning?
I think it's important. I think it's important because when recruits show up, they want to see nice things. And between myself and Eddie and President Stokes, we've already talked about some of the renovations that we're going to make here to make this place better for the players. Everything that you should do here should be about the players. Now, some of these things about all the pretty frills and stuff that we have in here, I mean, you see these beautiful seats that we have and the nice weight room. And if you go into our locker room, it's unbelievable. Really, they've done a great job. Dream Style Remodeling did all this work, and Larry Chavis and his son, Larry Chavis Jr., is one of my really good friends. They did all this. They're part of their commitment to the university, and it's beautiful when you walk in. In my opinion, we make the kids soft with all this nice stuff. So what I like to go do is go use that tent over there, so they have to work outside in the frills, but you can't do that. So we'll take advantage of our beautiful building. And I think it's beautiful. I mean, you guys get to walk around and see it, and they've done a nice job cleaning the last couple of days. We have one of the top facilities in the Mountain West. And take advantage of it by finding great players. The only reason you're going to be a great coach is if you have great players. When we win games, the players win games. When we lose games, it's on the coaches, because coaches don't play. Coaches don't tackle, don't intercept, don't throw the ball. The players do. So you got to have great players to win games. And coaches can screw them up by not giving them a chance schematically. So, I mean, I'll sing that till I'm out of here. I mean, players win games, and our players will know that.
All right, you good, Henry? You good?